When you are ready to respond to the moment without any pattern, without any preconditioning, just out of your spontaneity, whatever the feeling of the moment decides to act just like that is what I call creative chaos. It is characterless consciousness. Character means something, a rigid pattern, that you will be acting under these circumstances in this way or that way. Characterless consciousness means you are acting out of spontaneity. A present without any past, a freedom which is not hindered by any kind of discipline. This very process of relaxing into freedom is what brings out your innerness, your reality. The more you are, the less reality is. The more you are means you are guided by the memory, guided by the past, guided by the set patterns. The more we are, less the reality is, and the less you are means the ego is not there, the past is not there, your set patterns are not there, your discipline is not there. Then the reality lurks from behind. We are a kind of a resistance. What we call ego, the personality, is nothing but a kind of resistance to reality. Personality is a kind of a resistance to reality. It is a kind of frozenness. It is a kind of fear and greed, a kind of private idiocy. What you would like to live, that you would like to live your life in your own way, irrespective of the universal existence. It is a kind of fear and greed, a kind of private idiocy, that you would like to live your own life in your own way, against the universal and the total, against the existence. And this is the reason that it brings misery. Initiation, that means now I am going to live in harmony with the existence. I will not have any private opinion about life. I will let the whole decide, the existence, the totality decide, the innerness decide. I will not pretend the part is whole. I do not want to live like a drop. I will no more be decisive on my own. I allow the decisions to arise in my consciousness, not in the mind, not through the form. I will allow the decision to arise in my consciousness and take possession of me. To live that way is to live the way of an initiate. It is utterly beautiful, blessed, but great courage is needed, because you do not have any guide, you do not have a particular form, you cannot depend on the past, that this one has lived this way, there is no set pattern to follow. One has to move from unknown to the unknown, not from known to unknown. Initiation is the beginning of the journey into unknown, and then you are moving from one unknown to another. One never knows what is going to happen next moment. where one is going to land. You do not know that. There is no security in it, no safety in it. It is just pure adventure. You are entering into uncharted land. I am not here to make you a Hindu or a Christian or a Muslim. I do not make you, give you any rigid pattern. Hinduism is a rigid pattern. If you belong to Hare Krishna, you have to say as a greeting Hare Krishna. If you belong to Raj Yoga, you have to say Om Shanti. You cannot say the otherwise. The people become so rigid. One of my friend, he comes from a Muslim faith. Anytime you tell him Sitaram or anything, he gets vexed, angry. He said, no. Salam alaikum. This is the rigidness, and that takes away your spontaneity from you. But you are happy with that. So what can I do? I do not make you a Hindu, I do not make you a Christian or Mohammedan, I simply make you a non-being, a human being. You were born without any religion, but with a religiosity. It's a quality. The religion, the rigidness was given to you by the parents, the society, the priest. You are born in a Hindu family, you are a Hindu. You are born a Muslim family, you are bound to follow. You are rigid way to follow the Islam. Simply make you a human being. You are a human being first. Your body is not Hindu or a Muslim or Christian. You may be born in a Hindu family. Your genes, your DNA does not show that you are born as a Hindu or a Muslim or Christian. It is the conditioning that is given to you by the family, by the society, by the priest. And when you grow into that, you come out with the rigid patterns. I simply make you a human being. And there is every possibility that freedom can grow in you. Just a slight push, just a courage is needed, and you are on the brink. Just jump can happen any moment. It does not need any preparation. It needs only courage to jump into the unknown. No time is required. Nothing is required except just a courage. Now I am entering into the unknown. There is a beautiful story, Sufi story, Mawjood. Mawjood means one who is available to the moment. He has started his life like anyone else. And if he had continued the life, he would have attained a high status. Like you are in a particular job, there is a limit to the progress that you can reach up to that limit. Beyond that, there is nothing. Maybe in 10 years' time you will attain to that, and after that things become. There is nothing beyond that. If you are in an organization, the CEO is the highest position. Beyond that, there isn't anything. So Khizr alayhi salam appears him. He was well settled in his job. The inspector of weights tells him to leave all that and throw yourself, meet me by the riverside. And the story goes on and on like that. This is the story of each one of you when you begin to live out of the moment. You do not know what is going to happen in the moment. It does not require a preparation, only courage. In fact, preparation is a kind of cowardice. People prepare to avoid the fact that they are cowards. When you are not a coward, there is no need for any preparation. And all illumination is sudden, it's not a gradual process. It is not that slowly and slowly you become blessed. No. Just a single moment before you were in misery, and a single moment after all misery has disappeared. It is a quantum leap. There is the very revolution that new kind of initiation brings into life. So from this moment, keep a little alert not to allow the past to interfere. But it again and again comes in. You have to be courageous not to allow the past to come in and interfere. Let the present moment be decisive. Present moment comes out of consciousness. Let the consciousness decide for you. Let it gain more power. Let it be more energetic. And do not think too much of any consequences. The man who thinks of consequences ultimately becomes a coward. This moment, whatsoever feels right, do it. Whatsoever be the consequence does not matter. Do not be too much considerate or bothered about the consequences. We consider the consequences too much and we go on missing the opportunity. The opportunity is only for those who can take it. So do not be at all concerned about the consequences or what will happen. This is the entire story of Mawjood. The person named in that parable is Mawjood, who is available to the moment. He does not think in the day-to-day terminology in the modern life. It is said, you must think before you take a jump. Before you do anything, you must decide, look at all pros and cons before you make that decision. This is the way of the known, not the way of the initiate. One takes the opportunity is only for those who can take it. So do not be at all concerned about the consequences or the results. Let them come on their own. You are guided by your consciousness, the results will come on its own. If one acts totally in the present moment, the future will be very beautiful, blossom. It is automatically created. If you have been loving in this moment, the next moment is going to be of greater love, greater harmony. Obviously, because it will grow out of your present moment. It cannot come from anywhere else. You need not worry about it. A man who becomes courageous enough to live in the present moment starts creating a future without even thinking about it. Let your tomorrow arise out of this very moment. A man who becomes courageous enough to live the moment starts creating a future without even thinking about it. The man who is not courageous and goes on thinking and thinking before making the decision about the consequences, pros and cons, what will happen if he does this and what will happen if he does that, goes on missing this very moment. And naturally, he goes on missing the future too. Future evolves. Your tomorrow evolves out of now. And naturally goes on missing the future too. Because if you don't sow the seeds now, there is not going to be any tomorrow. You have to sow the seeds. When you are sowing the seeds, you are only concerned with preparing the soil and planting the seeds in that fertilized soil. You have to see that how fertilized is your soil, how good is the size of the flower pot, and you plant in that the seed. Continue to nourish and nurture, and the seed will blossom on its own, and one day there will be a flowering. Tomorrow again you will be thinking about another tomorrow, because then tomorrow comes, it comes only as today. You become accustomed to the habit of thinking always of the tomorrow, and the tomorrow never comes. So only this moment is, and this moment is precious, and to live in this moment as if it is absolute, no past, no future. This is what initiation is all about. This is Bharat is all about. Not putting on a particular garb, carrying your scripture in your hand, living in a certain way of life, a certain garb. It is to understand there is no past, there is no future. This very moment is precious, and this is what initiation is all about. A journey into the unknown. When you are ready to journey into the unknown, your life is divine. When there is happiness without any reason, it is blissfulness, it is divine. When it has some reason, it is ordinary, it is just worldly. You have won a lottery and you are feeling happy, a friend has come to see you and you are happy, but you are feeling happy is your feeling of happiness, your feeling of joy is dependent on cause. When your happiness is causeless, then you enter into the divinity. You won a lottery, you are feeling happy, your friend has come, you won, you are happy. Those causes will disappear soon, and then you will become unhappy again. That is why happiness keeps on coming again and again, and you have no experience of the happiness that comes once and never disappears. So the same causes that create that happiness can create unhappiness when it is gone. One goes on moving in this vicious circle. The search is to find the joy, happiness which is uncaused. One simply is joyful, happy for no reason. One is joyful because one is. This is the way of the initiation. Initiation connects you to the formless in you. It is journey into the formless, into the unknown. And the moment you are happy for no reason, you have entered into the divinity. You are not happy for any reason. Your happiness does not require any cause, is causeless. This is the way of initiation. Only this much for this morning. Until tomorrow, take care and do have a pleasant day.